and introduce himself and say why he needs to be the next Attorney General of the state of Kansas. Ralph.
Thank you all. Let's get this accent thing out of the way first, my New York accent. I lived for 23 years in New York City, for the last 38 in Kansas, and I used to work for William F. Buckley's brother. Now that goes as to my conservatism. Now, let's get down to the real issue of the Attorney General's office. It's got nothing to do with issues. It's got to do with experience. This is the Attorney General's race in the Republican primary this year is probably the lowest keyed race you ever heard of. Me and my opponent are friends. We got nothing bad to say about each other, and this has absolutely nothing to do with those kinds of things. This has to do with experience, in my opinion. My opinion usually isn't very humble, but in this case it probably is humble. All right. So, if you were the victim, seriously, of a violent crime, would you want the person who is prosecuting the wrongdoer, somebody who's handled hundreds of criminal cases, hundreds of felony criminal cases in court, thousands of criminal cases, is currently, as I am, the city prosecutor in Junction City, and would you want somebody who's run a large office of lawyers, as I have for 16 years? If that's what the Attorney General ought to be, if that's the kind of person who ought to be the Attorney General, then you ought to vote for me. It's real simple. Now, other things about me that are a little quirky. One, I will not accept any political endorsements from any politician. I think the Attorney General is supposed to be enforcing the law impartially and non-politically. And if you start taking endorsements from politicians, then you owe somebody something. And I'm not going to be in that game. It's just that simple. As to the political issues that are of concern today, I don't think you'll find much difference between me and my Republican opponent. You'll find a lot of differences between me and my Democratic opponent, but you won't find too many between me and my Republican opponent. We both hate Obamacare. We both want to get rid of it, and we would both sign off to repeal it, probably the first thing we ever did when we got in office. That's just not an issue, all right? We're both members of the NRA. We're both members of the State Rifle and Pistol Association. We're all in the same team as far as being good conservative Republicans. There's no issue there. It's only a question about experience. Vote your conscience, and God bless America. Thank you.